Hello, and you are listening to the Book Was Better podcast, the podcast where we talk about the book of the film. I'm Luke.
And I'm not Luke.
And this week we're talking about the further adventures of Steve Terminator, Terminator Salvation.
Hey you, put down the popcorn and turn on the light. It's gonna be alright, my friend. In the end, take my hand and trust me, the book was better.
That's really smooth, really professional.
Yeah, good start.
Very good start.
Good start to the year for me.
Yeah, Lizzy Unpronounceable.
That's me.
Back, you haven't been gone that long because you were in our not Santa with Muscles challenge, our Theodore Rex writing challenge.
Yeah, that's right.
But very good to have you back for just a you and me episode.
Yeah.
Especially...
Not those other jerks.
What a bunch of assholes.
Totally.
Not very talented either.
Hacks.
Yep, hack writers. And we're very invested in the story of Steve Terminator, the saga.
I feel like I have known Steve for years.
Yeah.
And that I really... I want to know what happens in the rest of his life.
We did the first Terminator. Mm-hmm. We did Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
Yep.
We did Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines.
In that order as well.
So it's natural that you and I would come together to do Terminator Salvation.
Yep.
Now, Jacinta was a little bit jealous because this film doesn't star Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Spoilers!
I know, but stars instead Australia's very own, Rockingham's very own, Sam Wortho Worthington, who, for people who listen to FP Cast, has become sort of an unofficial mascot of FP Cast. We like to talk about Wortho a lot and do imitations of him, which are not at all based in fact. Are just cruel stereotypes that we've jumped on.
That doesn't sound like you at all.
So it might be a little bit of that today because, to be honest, he's the best bloody actor in the world.
Yeah.
Because why would they put him in Avatar if he wasn't?
Definitely not.
Because that's the best bloody movie in the world. So that's just...
Better than this?
Yeah, it made the most money.
Yeah, but...
That makes it the best movie because that's like everyone wanted to spend money on it. That's just maths.
No, but it doesn't have a Terminator in it.
Well, that's true, but Jim Cameron and Sam Wortho are both Terminator alumni.
Yeah.
So it's close.
But this film has got... Well, this one doesn't really have a Terminator in it either, does it?
It's got robots in it that like to terminate things.
Yeah, I suppose it does.
Very broad brushstrokes.
Yeah.
And this one's written by Alan Dean Foster, who wrote the Alien novelization. Episode 11 of the book was better. And he's also the only author to ever respond to us. Now, I know a lot of people actually haven't heard those original Book Was Better with Jess episodes.
Really?
Yeah, I found out a lot of people that comment on our forums and stuff joined a lot later. And not everyone's gone back. In fact, I keep hearing a lot of people say the first episode that got them hooked was one of your episodes.
One of mine?
Yeah, you are definitely a favourite amongst everybody.
Chumps.
So, Alan Dean Foster, we made fun of Alien. We made fun of the words that he used.
Yeah.
Like Brobdingnagian instead of big.
Yep.
Perfectly great movie name for it, and it became a movie. It's such a good word.
Yeah.
I'm not making much sense now.
Perfectly cromulent.
They danced on a piano, is all I remember. But yeah, we made fun of that. We made fun of the Cat-tagonist. That was the very first Cat-tagonist, where we saw her seen through the eyes of a cat and the cat's thoughts. And also, we made fun of his bio, where he claimed to have ridden whale sharks or swum with whale sharks in Western Australia, off the coast of Western Australia. And we were
Possibly off the coast of Rockingham, probably.
Well, yeah, little baby Sam Wortho was on the beach
he was one of the whale sharks.
Throwing tinnies into the water. Get off the fucking shark! Fucking yank, bastard! I fucking gotcha!
Spot on.
So yeah, that's how he talks. That's why they don't give you much dialogue.
That's how you and I talk when we're not doing our radio voices.
Oh, absolutely. Because everybody does have a radio voice. And then it finishes and I'm like, thanks so bloody much, Lizzy. That was an absolute bloody corker. You beauty.
It's truth, eh?
It's truth. You're a little beauty. Fair income. You a top Sheila. Fair sack of the sauce model. So, yeah. And we said at the time, like, that's the kind of thing that you make up because you think no one will ever be able to fact check it.
Yeah.
Because back in that time, the idea of Western Australia must have sounded very distant and exotic.
Well, it was basically Atlantis, but the Australian version.
That's right. Well, we do have a big Neptune statue
Yeah.
Up north.
Yeah, oh, is it still there? Or
It's
is
still
it outside
there.
that Miss Maud's place
No,
now?
it is.
Did
It is
turn into
there.
a Viking?
No, it is there, and it's massive.
And how do you know it's there?
I photographed Courtney in its hand while dressed as
No.
Tintin.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Yeah, only the other year as well.
I remember.
It's covered in graffiti now, though.
Oh, because of you guys?
No, yes, because we tagged it. That's what we do. We had to write our names up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he, we thought it was like going, oh, I rode a tiger in Timbuktu. Like, who's going to disprove that? But he actually responded.
What?
He responded to a blog post, the blog post on the thing, and he said, now his name on here is Thranks, which we did research. It is from a name that's used in one of his books.
Oh, really?
And he said, glad you had fun with the book, if having fun with Alien is not an oxymoron. There, another 3-syllable plus word for you.
Oh, shit.
In Re the Whale Shark Riding, this occurred in the course of an expedition up the WA coast with Rodney Fox in 1992, prior to restrictions being placed on diver whale shark interaction by the WA government. It was our experiences that sharks not only didn't mind contact, but that in certain instances they actually seek it out. How to ride a whale shark? Gently grab a fin and hold on, but watch your depth.
Wow.
So isn't that cool? So we were very excited at the time. We were like, oh, thank you, Mr. Dean Foster. You are just an amazing man. We love to hear from you. How gentlemanly. We've always been fearful of what an author said.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you about it. I revisited it today and I read it and I thought, maybe he's being snarky. Maybe it's not nice at all. Like, maybe we just put on what we wanted to read.
Yeah, okay.
Like, do you think he's like, glad you had fun with the book, if having fun with Alien is not an oxymoron? There, another 3-syllable word for you. And Re the Whale Shark Riding? This occurred in the course of an expedition up the WA coast with Rodney Fox? Like, subtext. Fucking call Rodney Fox if you don't believe me.
Exactly.
Witness.
Yeah.
In 92, before you babies were probably born, is the subtext there. Prior to restrictions being placed on diver whale shark, etc., etc. Fuck you guys. You're out of your depth.
Yeah, but what's your depth?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Do you reckon?
That has blown my mind.
So I don't know.
I think he might hate you.
I think he might.
Oh,
See
man.
how he goes at the end of this one.
Yeah. I'm going to have to watch my depth.
You watch your depth. Don't get out of your depth. And he also wrote the novelizations of Alien 3, Transformers, Star Trek Into Darkness, which is the best Star Trek in my opinion, and Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
Is that a Star Wars one?
It is the Star Wars one. It's the very first expanded universe Star Wars book.
I think I read it back when I was a nerd.
Yeah, it came out before Empire Strikes Back. So anybody who wanted that Star Wars fix after the movie and had to wait for Empire Strikes Back, you had two options. The hot Star Wars Holiday Special. Or Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
Wow.
And Splinter of the Mind's Eye is really weird because, like, you know, he didn't know that Luke and Leia were sisters, so he kept the love thing going.
Oh,
and
awkward, yeah.
brought Vader back in, and it just doesn't really fit into anything. But, yeah, that was the thing.
Wow.
I remember seeing it in primary school in our library, but I just could not be asked.
It's not the really thin junior series that they had in between.
No.
It's
This is a novel, and I think it's actually, that's what put me off, is it was quite dense.
Yeah.
Like, too dense for a kid at that point. He also actually wrote, the Star Wars novelization is credited to George Lucas. But that's a lie.
Yeah.
It was Alan Dean Foster.
No way.
So he's done a lot of stuff.
I think I have Empire Strikes Back novelization. I think.
So, yeah.
And maybe Return of the Jedi as well.
Yeah. So he's a very accomplished man. Let's eviscerate him for the next 90 minutes. Now, I found out a little bit of interesting backstory about this novelization. Always taking my time when you're the guest, because I just think, we always do long episodes. That's great. They're thorough.
You've got to fill it, so you got to get the stuff in.
Got to vamp. This is a quote. "So extensive were the rewrites that Alan Dean Foster decided to rewrite the entire novelization after submitting it to his publisher because the compiled shooting script was very different from the one he was given beforehand."
Wow, that is dedication.
Yeah, and I don't know if it sort of suffers for it. And this film, remember, like, the production sounded crazy. It was directed by McG.
Yep, so that's a plus column tick.
And this is the movie where Christian Bale had that big breakdown and screamed at the lighting guy.
Yeah, I remember that.
And McG in the background is like, "Yeah, I don't know. Better do what he says." And like, it's just a total little baby in the background. He's not directing this thing. He's just like sitting behind his chair hoping that Christian Bale doesn't throttle him.
Fair enough. He is an intense dude.
And as we said last week, McG also directed Charlie's Angels.
Mm-hmm.
So this is 2 McGs in a row. And Bill Murray was quoted as saying that McG should die and that someone should run a lance through him. So he's not the most popular director around.
Wow, okay. But 2 very, very different films in many ways, Charlie's Angels and Terminator Salvation, but 2 very similar films in many ways.
Yeah. You're talking about Christian Bale's Spider-Man Underoos dancing scene?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's probably
exactly
the best
right.
bit.
It's my favourite scene, that's for sure. I think it really, really worked with the whole tone of the film.
Absolutely. So, before we get to the beginning...
I think it's worth mentioning that, like, you go above and beyond for podcasts when I'm here.
Absolutely.
I think Alan Dean Foster went above and beyond for the novelisation that he assuredly knew we were going to cover at some point, him being the smart guy that he is. He put a quote at the beginning, and lots of books have a quote. You know, they might quote Dante's Inferno,
Yep.
or they might quote the Bible or something, but this novelisation starts off with a quote by John Connor himself.
The actual John Connor.
The actual John Connor.
Now, does it say whether he travelled back in time to get child John Connor's quote, or did he travel forward in time to get future, like, general John Connor's quote?
It doesn't specify. I think it really leaves it up to the reader to bring their own interpretation and also their own timeline, because how can you really specify a point in time when the whole idea behind this is that time is fluid and you can jump in and out of it all the time?
I don't remember the quote. I think I was really keen to rush into this
Yeah.
beginning. But I
like,
imagine there
fate,
might have
fate,
been a
fate,
clue.
fate.
Like if it was something like, today we fought a nest of hunter-killer robots and we're victorious, I'd go older John Connor.
Uh-huh.
If it was today I got my first pube, I'd think maybe the younger one.
Yeah.
Always hard to tell though.
Yeah, well, it was just fate,
Fate.
some more stuff about fate, which is kind of what he talks about the whole way through, so...
Oh, and just one further word of warning. You realise we're doing this because Terminator Genesis, spelt incorrectly, comes out this year, and I'm sure there will be a novelisation.
Oh, yeah.
And,
I'm excited.
Steve Terminator will continue. All right, let's read the beginning. We better get into this thing. Longview State Correctional Facility was no better or worse, no more architecturally attractive or depressing than any other maximum security prison in the state of Texas, which meant that on the inmates' gauge of such wretched establishments, it fell somewhere between dismal and but ugly. Whew, there's an Alan Dean Foster sentence right off the bat.
Its residents, both short and long-term, tended to be as hard and unforgiving as the land atop which their current place of residence had been raised.
Few blue-collar criminals dared raise hand or head among the growling populace whose professional pursuits tended to involve cracking heads as opposed to persuading them. I'm glad I've got one of my best readers here for this one.
This is a challenge. Or to put it another way, Longview was home to far more head crackers than crackheads.
Among the former could be accounted a certain highly antisocial specimen named Marcus Wright.
Regrettably, for much of his life, Wright had been in the wrong.
Ironic. At the moment, he was sitting on a cot in a small piece of concrete hell, staring at the wall opposite.
The vision of flecking stone and cement had nothing particular to recommend it, but it beat gazing at any of the 3 men standing nearby.
2 wore uniforms, the third did not.
No, he corrected himself.
That wasn't quite true.
all three wore uniforms.
It was depressing for Wright to look at them because two stood on the other side of the welded iron bars that confined him in his current cage, and the third could exit at any time.
Society preferred to call his present and increasingly transitory home a cell.
Wright knew better.
Both were four-letter words.
What do you think he called it? Like a shit?
Box with an exclamation mark?
Box with 2 X's?
Yeah, that works better. Pretend I said that.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah.
Tired of being cooped up in this fuck. Another 4-letter C word. I don't know what Alan Dean Foster is getting at there. I think he's staring out the window dreaming of whale sharks during that last bit. I did notice, though, that the word hell and the hell imagery and everybody being in a living hell is something that comes up a lot throughout this book. Also, forgive me, I'm going to use Wright and Wortho pretty much interchangeably throughout this. I think it's the same guy. I don't think he really put on much of a character.
No, same as Christian Bale and whoever he played in this.
Yeah.
The angry guy.
John Connor.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy. Child John Connor? No. Look, let's play a game of Alan Dean Foster's long sentence, short sentence. I like this. He sort of writes something out and gives you a choice. Do you want the short version or the long version? So do you want to read the long sentence or the short sentence?
Yep, I'll start us off. While the priest's optimism in the face of the brutally human... No, wait.
Yeah.
Brutality. Let me try that again, smart reading guy. While the priest's optimism in the face of the brutality human beings could render unto one another had never been entirely quashed, it had been repeatedly squeezed and pummeled by a demoralizing range of harsh realism until it bore little resemblance to what one could expect to hear asserted on the outside.
Or his faith was punch drunk.
I like the first one better.
You can't apologise for stumbling over Alan Dean Foster. It's like navigating broken glass in a dark room.
Repeatedly squeezed and pummeled.
Yeah.
I love
it. The language is repeatedly squeezed and pummeled. So Wortho is playing, and I quote, evil incarnate. He's definitely one of society's dregs here. He is a blunt instrument who only understands violence. I mean, God, talk about being typecast.
Now, I thought that I could make it through this episode without showing my ignorance, particularly as you talked this guy up so much at the beginning, and I was like, no, just write it out, be cool. But I think I'm going to have to confess that I have no idea who this guy is.
Well, Sam Worthington, he's from Rockingham.
Yeah, okay.
He's the main guy in Avatar, the one in the wheelchair that goes into the blue Avatar.
Then he's blue?
Catman.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He's in the Clash of the Titans and Wrath of the Titans, or Wrath of the Titans, if we're going to be Shakespearean and correct.
Yep.
And he's like given voices to video games and things. He's just got married to Lara Bingle, and they're expecting a baby. And
is he in Star Trek or in Thor?
Neither. You're thinking of Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth's actually got more personality.
Okay.
Chris Hemsworth's in both Star Trek and Thor.
Which one? Isn't there a Sam Hemsworth?
There's a Liam Hemsworth, which is the brother, which is... I'm going to bring
up... Is he the
one
that was engaged to Miley Cyrus?
Yeah. But
and
not Sam Worthington.
Where does Channing Tatum fit into all
He's
this?
American. But if you... Here we go. This is Sam Worthington.
Oh, yeah, he was in the movie I watched.
There you go. And there's Lara Bingle with him.
Okay, yeah.
And he's like, Sam bloody Worthington, mate. And, like, the thing is, like, when you see him in, like, fucking Wrath of the Titans or whatever, Clash of the Titans,
yeah,
he's just, like, walking around looking at everything like, oh, fuck, what's that? Oh, fuck, look at this thing. And I don't think he realised they've started shooting. He's just, like, I'm just getting the lay of the land, mate. And then they're like, and he's like, so I like it. I like what you done here. When's we going to shoot this cat? And they're like, we just did, Sam. That's it. And he's like, oh, serious? All right, I'm going to have a fucking durry. And off he goes. Climbs up a tree, has a durry.
All right, well, maybe I'll watch that then.
Punches Medusas.
Cool. That is cool. Like all of the little heads?
Every single one of them punches them. But afterwards, because he's a top bloke, he gives each one a cigarette.
Oh, that's nice.
I only got one left. I might have to share this one, Snakey. Aye? He's like Wortho, mate. So yeah.
I don't know if I've mentioned before, but there's a certain class of actor where if I look at them, I can see that they have a face.
Yeah.
And they have features and like the Google image search, they were all the same guy. I could see that.
Yeah.
But then now you've closed that window. I've got no idea what his face looked like.
Well, the thing about
It's just
Sam
white space.
Worthington, we've said this before, and think about other Australian actors like Joel Edgerton or Jai Courtney,
Okay.
who all like kind of look the same. And if you can't get Sam Worthington, you usually get Jai Courtney.
Yeah, same guy. Same guy.
All kind of look like potatoes.
Potatoes.
Yeah. And like just like with potatoes, you know, they have little black eyes and sort of they're round and kind of tan coloured.
Yeah.
You know what a potato is. You recognise a potato on your plate. But would you be able to tell 2 potatoes apart, 3
Probably
potatoes
not.
apart? Would you be able to go, oh, that's the same potato I saw yesterday?
Probably not, no.
That's what's happening. That's all it is.
Okay, so I'm not a terrible person for not knowing.
You know, Australian author, speaking of authors, this is a literary podcast, Bryce Courtney.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the name.
He wrote a book called The Potato Factory.
Uh-huh.
That's what this was. That's what it was about.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. Australia, in America they have Hollywood.
Yeah.
In Australia we have the Potato Factory, where we churn out gruff,
Hollywood, they have the Dream
manly
Factory.
men with
Here's
very
Potato Factory.
little emotions that kind of look like potatoes.
Well, there you go. But Channing Tatum is in the same class for me. And
Yeah.
he's not. He's American?
He's American. Oh, he's very American. He's
Okay.
like an American jock type.
Okay.
Yeah. But he is a big potato-y man. And Hemsworth is too, but Hemsworth's more like kind of... He looks smarter. He's got more charisma.
Okay.
Whereas Wortho and Jai Courtney and stuff don't have a lot of charisma.
I like potatoes.
They're just like, it's just potatoes, man.
He's more interesting to me now that you've said he's a potato.
Okay, well, there we go.
Okay, yeah, I can do this now. All right. Whew. All right.
Now we've sorted all that out about the men. I've got a question about the women.
Okay.
How hot are the chicks, mate?
Visitants like Dr. Serena Kogan were rare in Longview. Her title was not what interested them, though Wright's reaction was more conflicted than they would have suspected. Long used such blatant testosterone-fueled stares, Kogan ignored them. Still in her 30s, she was unconventionally beautiful. Part of this was due to the nature of her work, which gave her an aspect of perfection that was partly the result of intense concentration. Uncharacteristically, desperation announced itself in the slight gauntness of her face and the tightness of her lips. It detracted from her beauty only slightly.
So this sexy doctor is Helena Bonham Carter.
Yep.
Who has cancer. She is ridden by tumours, which the book likes to remind us of. And that's kind of important in a moment, apparently. But I do love these Alan Dean Foster sentences because I feel like it's such a great juxtaposition to have this really overwritten stuff punctuating Wortho's caveman dialogue. In the troglodytic... In the troglodytic confines of the cell, the query was at least as funny as the paramount punchline of a highly paid stand-up comedian.
Beautiful.
Gotta give Alan Dean Foster credit, though.
Yeah.
Like, the man is literate, the man can write. Like, we read so many novelizations where they're just stumbling over themselves to get from A to B, and it's just the script with a couple of... Like, he's given it a go. And he wrote it twice!
Yeah, twice, right?
So... Love him. I'm always excited when it's a Alan Dean Foster, even though it is a bit intimidating at first. I also love this out of context. Like, imagine this is Wortho on the beach talking to some girl in an Australian soap opera.
Like, I should care about the future of the human race. Like anyone should. Produced me, didn't it? He went silent for another moment, then declared, "Tell you what I'll do. I'll sell it to you. My body." He looked down at himself, and the disgust in his voice was unmistakable.
So yeah, Helena Bonham Carter, he's on death row.
Yeah.
He's a prisoner, he's on death row, he's about to be killed, and she wants to buy his body before he dies.
Yep.
And I'm dwelling on this first scene quite a lot, but I just found it was the most insane scene in the entire book. He ends up trading a kiss for his life. And apparently it's really gross and violating. And the weird thing is as well, it must be held for such a long time. You know when you have breaks in books where you miss a couple of lines and you have the 3 little asterisks and then another break and then a new paragraph starts. Usually a completely different scene. He starts kissing her. We get the break. We get the little asterisks. As it comes back and the kiss is finishing. And I'm like, did this go on for hours? Days? And
don't execute me yet. I got to do this kiss for a while.
And it talks about how everybody was gross, who was watching, was grossed out by it. That he actually uses the words, it was ugly and violating and psychologically, if not physically, brutal.
Yeah.
And alternately repulsed and bemused, the guards looked on but made no move to intervene. Already they were imagining how they were going to tell the story to their cohorts later over hot coffee and sweet pastries.
Hot coffee, sweet pastries.
Which is a really weird detail after this really gross thing.
And in the film, this scene is like nothing. It's so quick, and the kiss is so quick as well. Like in this, she's kind of tossing up whether or not to accept, and he kind of looms over her, and...
Isn't there something as well that it says, like, because of the cancer, that her self-respect and dignity have kind of taken a back seat and she's more willing to go along with this thing? I mean, she is a professional woman, a scientist, a doctor.
Yeah.
And he's a death row inmate who has done horrible things.
Yeah, but you're kind of being led to believe that she wants to save herself. Like, she wants his body to do some medical research so that she can cure her own cancer.
Yeah.
But she's like, no, just for the sake of the human race. But you're kind of led to believe that it's personal for her and that she would do anything to get that body.
Pash
Science
Wortho.
body. Yeah. But it's like... In the film, it was over so quickly, and you don't even really get to see Helena Bonham Carter's reaction to the kiss. In the book, she's all like, oh, that's super gross, oh. And in the movie, she's like, it is a sexy kiss, even though it's over very quickly. Like, there's a bit of moaning and leaning into each other and stuff, which is not how it plays out in the book at all.
So he's editorializing, I reckon. He's reading that script, which has got a lot of red pen through it, and going, this makes no sense, this is gross.
Yeah. But then in both the film and in the book, after the kiss, Marcus Wright says, so that's what death tastes like, which is just the most shitbag thing you can say after kissing someone. That is the worst. Horrible.
Yes.
So if we're going to keep count, as we go along... The book did this scene better.
I agree.
Definitely.
He certainly made a meal out of it. And a nice description here as Wortho is put to sleep. I thought this was quite effective.
His eyes moved faster. Monitors showed that his heart rate had increased sharply, along with his breathing. There was no pain save the pain of realization. Along with the chemicals, he suddenly realized how badly he wanted to live. He wanted to fight back, needed to struggle, but he could not. The lethal cocktail was already taking hold, doing its work, shutting down system after system. Nervous, respiratory, circulatory, end of story. He would have screamed, but could not.
I like that. That's dark. I like it when they make you feel what this person in this horrible situation might feel like put you in the mindset.
Yeah.
I want that more in books.
Yeah, and capital punishment really is a horrible thing to
such
think
a creepy
about and...
clinical thing that's happening there.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, in the future desert, people are firing missiles at things. Dirt and pulverized rock vomited skyward. Along with everything else in the immediate vicinity of the blast, the single guard was thrown helplessly skyward. He landed hard, rolled over, tried to rise, and sank back to the ground. Heat and flame had melted away skin to reveal the skull beneath. It should have shown white. Instead, it gleamed. Red eyes flickered. Battling against the terrible damage it had sustained in the blast, the T-600 struggled to rise. Is this Steve? Is this Steve Terminator finally?
Well, how are we ever going to find out?
It's not, unfortunately. And he gets blown up by Christian Bale.
Oh, Batman.
Hey, Batman, swear to me!
John Connor regarded the lifeless T-600, waiting to make certain it was good and dead. The damn things had a dangerous habit of simulating death and then leaping up to bite you in the ass. This one, though, was good and demised.
Didn't Asimov's robot laws specifically forbid ass biting?
No. I guarantee you in the future there is a robot specifically for ass biting.
Do you reckon you can buy that, like, if you're a fetishist?
Yeah.
Go and give me one of those ass biters as well. I'm
Yeah.
feeling a little 50 Shades.
That's a guarantee right there.
And thank goodness for punctuation. Leaning over to peer cautiously into the cavernous maw, one of Connor's men declared with assurance, if not eloquence, that is one big asshole in the ground.
I did have to read that twice, actually, when I was reading it.
Thought they were talking about Christian Bale.
And I love it when the writer comments on how terrible the dialogue is.
I like a snarky writer.
Yep. Assurance, if not eloquence.
So Connor and his friends David and Tunny go underground to infiltrate Skynet. They call each other bro an awful lot.
A lot.
And they find pens of gaunt, captured, imprisoned humans. And I thought Connor had really great dialogue too.
Let's cut these people loose. Seeing them like this makes my stomach turn. Listening to them hurts my heart.
It hurts his heart.
I'm pretty sure that Batman didn't say any of this in the film, but his voice is so far below the range of pitch that I can hear. It's possible that I just didn't notice him saying it.
With Wortho and Bale in the same film, I definitely recommend you put the subtitles on.
Yes, I had to. So, I think that the dialogue's pretty good, but a lot of, not quite a lot of it was in the film. There were definitely scenes that were obviously cut out because they were fucking rubbish and contributed zero to the story at all. But I like the non-dialogue stuff way better.
Those things had not come to pass because of one unfortunate oversight. Machines that could be controlled by thought had indeed come to pass. The problem was that they were thinking for themselves, not for their creators, and their thoughts had turned out to be not at all nice.
Okay, but now read that as if it's a children's book.
Those things had not come to pass because of one unfortunate oversight. Machines that could be controlled by thought had indeed come to pass. The problem was that they were thinking for themselves, not for their creators, and their thoughts had turned out to be not at all nice. Bad machines!
Turn the page.
When you hear John Connor scream like this. And did you notice that Connor goes down a hole, not an a-hole, but a hole.
A-hole.
Escapes in a helicopter, crashes the helicopter, and then happens to get attacked by the same half-destroyed Terminator that he shot hours before.
Yep.
I guess that ass-biting protocol is very hard to override.
Yes.
And then Foster goes for the low-hanging fruit by including the phrase, Terminator terminated. Which would be a great name for the sequel, better than Terminator Genesis.
True. It would have to be the last film in the series, though.
True. Save that for the end.
Yeah. I think it was probably this point in the film where I gave up because
it's about 6 minutes in.
Yeah, but it felt like days because the previous 3 films had been about Terminators trying to terminate stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas this one was just a war film, all about soldiers, blam blam, soldiers, chain of command. Oh no, don't take orders from this guy, take orders from me instead. And it's so boring.
It's never really clear what it's about and what it wants to be. Is it the story of John Connor or is it the story of Sam Worthington? And it just goes back and forth and it's quite episodic. They're not things that are actually driving either thing particularly forward.
And it doesn't seem to really go into any of the same themes that the previous ones were about. Fate was such a big driving force in the first 3 films, and in this one it's kind of very peripheral.
I only saw it once and it was a couple of years ago, and then reading it I realised how little I remember. There was only a couple of sequences where I went, oh yeah, that rings a bell, but nothing happens in this thing. That's why I didn't remember it.
Nothing at all.
But at the Skynet facility, the prisoners and most of John's friends have been blown up. But please tell me that this at least is what the rest of the movie is going to be about. I think this is the vein they should have mined.
If he was lucky, he mused as he trudged towards an increasingly stormy horizon, maybe he would find a lizard. In the world in which he now found himself, any companion not made of metal and circuitry was one to be cherished.
Terminator Lizard Companion Salvation. I love it. Can you imagine, like, a Terminator Salvation poster, which has the most badass Christian Bale staring ahead at you, and the tagline is, maybe if he's lucky, he'll find a lizard.
Or like in Tangled, she has a little lizard friend. So maybe it could be him all arms folded and being badass, but with a little cartoon lizard on his shoulder.
Tooting.
Yeah.
Eyebrows down, big grin.
But that's such a tease. Why does he want a lizard? It doesn't make any sense. What would he do with the lizard if he found the lizard? Will we ever revisit this lizard theme?
I think it would be sort of like a kind of Rango-style film, maybe. I don't know. Like, he just hallucinates in the desert and imagines this town filled with animals, and he befriends them and helps them deal with a problem, and then they find his skeleton. And meanwhile, in a raging storm, a naked Wortho rises furiously from the wreckage. What? I thought he was sentenced to death in the past. What is going on?
Who knows? Nobody knows. And what's going on here? For all Connor knew, there might have been an entire archipelago underneath the copter. If so, it was submerged beneath a steady succession of enormous swells, the likes of which Connor had never encountered, not even in recordings of old weather broadcasts. What's he doing? Listening to old weather broadcasts.
Yeah, it seems like with the entire, body of work that we've produced, they do say that the internet's gone in this future. But I don't know why you'd rewatch old weather forecasts.
No. You're telling me that in the future, in this apocalyptic future, no one's got an old VHS of Friends?
Could there be any more cold fronts? So John takes refuge with the other world leaders in the submarine exposition. And this is basically what we need to know. This is your key to the rest of the film. Mm-hmm. John now has a code to switch off the battle droid army a la Phantom Menace.
Yep.
And the Terminators want to kill not just him, but his future/past father, Kyle Reese.
Oh.
Played by Anton Dreamyface in this particular film.
Yeah. We also know that things are just super dire for humans because on this submarine command ship, there are some non-white people on board who seem to be quite high up.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm. And also, the American who's in charge listens to the advice of the Russian guy.
We have to stop this future from happening.
It's a world gone topsy-turvy.
Cats and dogs.
living together. Yeah, but okay, so the other thing that you need to know that happens in this submarine is that there's some friction around the chain of command. There's this submarine of bosses saying, don't do all of this stuff, John Connor. And John Connor's like, you're not my mom. And he goes off to, I don't know, like, what is his position in this army, this rebellion army anyway? I thought that he was supposed to be leading the resistance.
He's like the chosen one, or the one that there's a prophecy, but these submarine exposition guys we don't put much stock in prophecy, John Connor. But he's not just there by himself as well. His wife is there.
We get to meet a lady.
Yeah, who was Claire Danes in the last one, wasn't it? And now it is Dallas Bryce Howard
Junior,
Richie, they weren't all happy days. In her work among the wounded and the dying, Kate Connor had become entirely too conversant with the persistence of blood stains. She had long ago given up trying to keep her scrub spotless. This is like a laundry detergent ad. No one expected it of her, and at several months pregnant, she had neither the energy nor the inclination to try. She had rather more important issues to focus on, like the man washing his face at the sink.
Oh, don't worry. I got excited that we were going to meet a lady, but instead we met a baby vessel and a sounding board for all of John Connor's emotions or whatever. Guess we don't need to know anything more about her.
The pregnancy really is an excuse to sideline her, because otherwise she should be out there with a gun doing cool shit like she was in the... Like, she's had the same amount of training he has.
John Connor, yeah.
Yeah, they both got into it at the same time, according to canon.
Yeah.
By which I mean Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines.
Yep.
But no, she's got a baby in her belly.
Yep.
A confused Wortho navigates the wasteland.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about him. What place in either afterlife the wreckage of a crashed 747 occupied was a physical and philosophical conundrum he couldn't even begin to fathom.
He's from Rockingham. There is a billion physical and philosophical conundrums that he couldn't begin to fathom. Trust me. Hello to all our Rockingham listeners. And then Wortho is attacked by one of the clunky humanoid Terminators, but is saved by a mysterious youth. Despite the difference in their ages and the disparity in size, the teen did not hesitate. His open hand clamped across Wright's mouth, shutting off the older man's query. In an earlier time and place, the blatant physical imposition would have caused Wright to rip the youth's head clean off. Seriously, this is the streets of Rockingham.
You are such a snob. Have you ever been to Rockingham?
Yes, and this is what it looked like. I don't think this was future LA. I think this is present-day Rockingham.
This, in the film, was when I got reinvested, because this is where we met Anton Dreamyface, whatever his name is. And if I had known that he was in it, I probably would have seen the film before last night.
Oh.
Because he's lovely.
Have you seen Fright Night?
No, I haven't.
A lot of him in that.
Yeah? Well, I'm off. See you later. Gonna watch that now.
And Colin Farrell and David Tennant.
What?
That is the three main cast members.
You know, really?
Yeah, and David Tennant's playing like this kind of magician, trickster, rock star guy that sort of looks like Russell Brand and has his pubes showing.
You shut your face.
And
why hasn't anyone told me about
Fright
this?
Night, watch it. It's the remake, yeah.
I'm going now. See you later. I'm done.
And yes, you guessed it, this streetwise teen is, of course, Kyle Reese and his girl companion, Star, who doesn't talk but has a sixth sense for spotting machines. Like, this is screenwriting 101. I can't believe it went through all these different drafts.
It's perfect the way it is. So, let me take a moment to talk about the ladies in this film.
You're going to talk about their boobs?
I'm not going to talk about their boobs, so you can just shut down for a moment. I'll wake you up when I'm done ranting.
Permission to shut down, sir.
So there are basically 4 women in the whole film. One, the baby vessel that we already met, who gets to do nothing, as far as I can tell.
Yes.
This young girl that we've just met, so she's like a kid, and she has an unexplained sixth sense. Literally no voice. She never speaks throughout the whole thing, and only really seems to be there in order to be scared of the Terminators and to hand over weapons to the men so that they can save her.
To be fair, I know you might think this is a bit Victorian of me, but I believe that children should be seen and not heard.
3, we will very soon meet the sassy rebel sex bomb who inexplicably falls in love with Potato Guy.
Yes.
Potato Rockingham man, and then betrays everything that she's ever known for a chance at putting her face on his face. And then 4, the motherly resistance person at the gas station that we see for 5 minutes, who tries to exert her power and almost gets beaten up because of it.
And I think it's destroyed by a robot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So, not a lot of female empowerment in this. Certainly not... Like, if we were to compare it to, say, the first Terminator film, where we got this feminist sci-fi hero in Sarah Connor, it's not really something that's carrying through.
Is this a multiple choice question? Because I'll take 3. The sassy rebel sex bomb, please.
All right. Let me just talk about the men for a moment in here. Now, okay, thinking not boobs, we're thinking about penises.
Okay.
So 1, you get the savior of the human species, John Connor.
Legend. Bloody legend.
Yep. 2, you get the father of the savior of the human species, and he's desperate to earn his place in the rebellion, so he gets a character arc as well.
That was Cutie Face.
Yep, that's Cutie Face. 3, you get the murderer with a heart of gold, who gets to redeem himself by helping save the father of the savior of the human species, and then also saving the savior of the human species. And
This is a huge flowchart.
Yep. And he also gets to explore what it means to be human anyway.
Yeah,
So he's
which I
basically the
encourage
focal point of this film.
all Rockingham residents to at least give a try.
And then 4, you get every other character doing every other thing in this film.
Action,
Those are the
quips. Yeah.
Those are the men in here.
Yeah. I'll choose men. I'm on the team men.
Well, luckily for you, you are. You're on there already.
That's every movie in the world, though, pretty much, isn't it? Except for Emily.
That's true. There is only one woman in that, isn't there?
I think there's a
been a
couple
while
in the
since I've seen
diner. I
it.
need to watch it again.
Yeah, count the women.
I do love this tough guy writing, though. Mm-hmm. Maybe it was gang slang for this piece of hell.
Gang slang.
Gang slang.
See, I like the poetic writing. Time passed, not much of it, and all of it was fraught with tension.
It's the worst kind of time.
And I like the dialogue that didn't make it into the film, or at least the version that I got to see.
Well, if you're one of those crazies whose brains turn to oatmeal from radiation poisoning, jump off this roof right now, because I'm not letting you get us killed. This rolls off the tongue. So they all build a radio so that they can listen to John Connor do the nightly news.
Yeah.
Coconut radio, I believe. Gilligan's Island blueprints. And I like that. There's John Connor every night. Gives his list of people he's done with professionally. These are the people that I am done with professionally. Helen O'Connor. So no Steve Terminator yet, but there are a lot of different terminating machines on display in this one, like the one that attacks Wortho and some other survivors in the mini-mart. And this was after that whole argument with the grandmother and the guy about whether they should give them food or not.
Yep. Harvester! Reese exclaimed without breaking stride. A mechanical marvel, the machine was many times the size of a human being. Powerful arms and legs sprouted from its body, together with an assortment of sensors. Only some of these observed the surroundings by seeing via the normal visual spectrum. Others looked to be attuned to seeing in the infrared, still others in the ultraviolet. Gleaming limbs of dark metal held Virginia and the other snared survivor in an unyielding, jointed grasp.
So she's screwed. Then more action. Foster does his job very nobly, but the whole affair definitely lacks the teeth of the early Terminators, especially Sean Hudson's novelization, which was just gore and clitorises all the way through. It was just insane. This, however, is very episodic, very sort of happenstance.
Yeah, well, bits of it were flowery, but a lot of it was just very blah, 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 this happened. Like, episodic and happenstance, but in that super wordy way.
Alan Dean Foster style.
Yeah. But I liked this bit. Slowing slightly, he let the second moto catch up until it was speeding along parallel to the truck. A hard wrench of the wheel trapped the moto between the truck and the embankment, crushing it against the restraining wall. This untenable situation persisted until the barrier finally gave way. The hunting machine was fast and agile, but it could not fly. A brief fountaining of water showed where it struck the river, that it was churning through the canyon below.
I wish these robots had monocles and top hats and said things during the car chase, like they wound down the window and said, "I say, this situation is quite untenable, sir."
There are lots of things that I wish had happened in this film.
And they were the old Terminator personalities.
Yeah. Like maybe having Steve Terminator in this.
Oh, that would be great if he was in it. Because for me, he is the original Terminator, who we have,
For many people, he is the original
watched
Terminator.
3 films of.
Yeah.
Where is he now?
It's kind of like when we were doing Jumanji, and the whole way through, you were like, "Where are the crazy monkeys?"
Yeah.
Waiting for the crazy monkeys. I'm waiting for the crazy Terminator.
Come on, Steve.
Where's Steve and
He's
his
gotta be
crazy
in here
terminating antics?
Meanwhile, Wortho, idiot, falls in the river.
Dummy.
And that's where he meets Blair, who was woman number 3.
Yeah.
Sassy sex buttons. Hey, it was a feeble salutation, but certainly far more than Wright had expected to hear. The weakness of the shout notwithstanding, he determined that the suspended pilot was possessed either of an unusually high voice or a different set of chromosomes.
Smart.
Walking over to the ruined structure and peering upward, he saw that it was the latter supposition that was accurate. I guess because she wasn't wearing any pants. And they rescue each other.
You can let go now, she told him softly. He released her hand, and together they made their way back down to the ground. He watched her with admiration. Most of the women he had known couldn't climb worth a damn. Those who could were usually responding to unusual motivation, such as the shouts of pursuing police to stop where they were.
I'm sorry, but are we sure that this isn't set on the streets of Rockingham? It just all sounds perfect. So this is Moon Bloodgood, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone had such wacky names.
She looks like, she reminds me of Summer Glau. I always get them confused.
Yeah, well, she was a Terminator, right? In the
Oh,
film, the TV show.
in the TV. I've never seen that.
No,
Yeah, there
me
we go.
neither.
There's a project. So he wants to save Reese and Star from the meat transport because they were captured by the harvester.
Yep.
Blair jogged after him until she caught up. Part of her said just to let him go. You couldn't stop a fool from going on a fool's errand, especially one as determined as this idiot seemed to be. Nailed it. At least, you got to say, like, at least she knows what's going on here.
Yeah. Fools going on fool's errands. Some of this monologuing, internal monologuing, I think is better if you imagine it as characters' Twitter feeds. Like, this fool is going on a fool's errand. Hashtag idiot. Hashtag lols.
And does Kyle Reese really need help? Because he seems completely on top of this to me.
While he had no idea why the machines had taken them alive, he doubted it was to fate him and Star with their fellow prisoners with candy and ice cream.
Doubted? But
Yep.
note, he's not ruling it out. Still a possibility.
Look, Skynet is unpredictable and dangerous. Maybe the candy has got razor blades in it. Maybe Kyle Reese is lactose intolerant.
These machines work in very mysterious ways.
They're smart. They're smarter than the average human.
And there are other prisoners on the Skynet meat transport, like this brilliantly written Frenchman. The Frenchman was shaking his head. What I would not give for a tomato and a sip of decent Shiraz.
Simone the chipmunk, what are you doing here?
Frenchies and their tomatoes. They fucking love them, don't they? And I thought this was kind of weird, as Blair and Wortho, meanwhile, make a camp.
He moved nearer, studying the injury with interest.
You're hurt.
She waved him away. I can take care of myself. You want to help? Go find something we can burn to keep warm.
He gestured out into the deluge. Why not ask for steak and lobster while you're at it?
I think steak and lobster is American for surf and turf.
What I find weird about this is back in the gas station earlier on, the asshole in there said, don't we all? How about some steak and ice cream while we're wishing? So the future apparently is where steak sarcasm, I'm used to saying scarcasm because of ScarJo. Where steak sarcasm runs rampant.
Maybe everyone's pregnant.
Could be.
Don't you get those weird cravings like steak and ice cream?
Yeah.
Ice cream and pickles? Maybe everybody in this film is pregnant. We just don't know.
Oh, why don't we all just have steak and ice cream then?
But seriously, why can't they get steak? Where are all of the animals? Like, have the Terminators terminated all of the cows?
Oh god, if Terminator Genesis features a Terminator cow, I will be thrilled.
How great would that be?
Like
or a Terminator lizard.
They're hiding at a farm and they look out the window and all the cows are staring with red eyes in the dark and shooting bullets out their udders.
Oh, don't eat the milk.
No.
It comes from that.
Now, this is more like it. Nothing organic survived in the ruins of the long-abandoned racetrack. No food, no fried chicken bones, not even a ketchup-stained hot dog wrapper.
What?
This is a hellish existence. Now I'm all amped up to do something about this horrible future.
But wait. Are there still burgers?
Look, I just think, you can describe rivers of skulls, all that sort of stuff. If
Yeah.
you want these Americans to get into action, not even a ketchup-stained hot dog wrapper. It's like, well, fuck. That is a reason to get in the Humvee.
Yeah. Shit just got real.
Load up the guns. And look, looking for more episodic encounters that don't involve expensive robots to pad out the old Terminator movie, we get some stereotypically rapey strangers that turn up and put the moves on Blair.
Yeah. Looking for this? Nice gun. He examined the huge pistol thoughtfully. Kinda big for such a pretty lady. His eyes glittered in the faint light. Name's Carnahan. I'm thinking you shouldn't have to haul so much extra weight around. There's easier ways to get exercise. Better ways.
Name's Carnahan, I'll be your rapist tonight. That's a good start, Alan Dean Foster, but I'm thinking, can we make it even grosser?
Instead of accepting her challenge, Carnahan raised the muzzle of the eagle and took aim at her head. No point in wasting the rest, he had already decided.
Yes, top points, Alan Dean Foster. That is as gross as I think it could have gotten.
It's pretty gross. Pretty gross.
He's willing to blow off her head, but still enjoy the rest of it afterwards.
Yep.
Carnahan.
It's horrible. And what do you do if you have only a couple of female characters? You don't really know what to do with them. You don't know how to actually give them any character traits or any character growth or anything. Put them in a situation where they're in peril of sexual assault. Now they're a fully fledged character.
Especially if there's a big man to come and save them in a minute, which I'm sure is about to happen.
Now you said what could make it grosser? I think that we can make it grosser.
Wait, there's more.
Yeah, how about this gem from Marcus's thoughts on seeing Blair surrounded by these would-be rapists?
That's gang slang. Probably they wouldn't kill her. There would be no reason to. They would tend to their business and move on, leaving her to make it the rest of the way back to her base. Meanwhile, he could easily avoid a confrontation he had not sought. They were no threat to him. They didn't even know he was there.
Yep. This is the love story of the movie.
This is the man she gives up everything for.
Yes. Also in the film, one of the would-be attackers says, we caught ourselves a donkey? What does that even mean?
An ass? Something to ride?
Yeah, okay. It's a weird way of saying it though, right?
It's pretty gross.
Well, yeah, weird stuff seems to be the way that these dudes operate anyway.
Turnbull's the name and surviving's my game, the man stammered as he held both empty hands out. Oh, so this is when Wortho turns on him, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he's like, Turnbull's the name and surviving's my game. The man stammered as he held both empty hands out in front of him and began backing away from the cold-eyed slayer who had materialized in their midst. Killing me ain't gonna win this war. Save it for the machines. I like how they all introduce themselves. Like, I really do think they walked into like a restaurant, like a Denny's or something.
Yeah, everybody in the film and the book, everyone always starts every conversation with their name, which is so dumb. Because if there's a kill list, don't tell everybody your name.
And then Wortho does save the day by terminating the attackers with supernatural strength. Very interesting. I wouldn't read too much into it.
No.
But I'm just saying, it's a little bit of a surprise. And yet more camping from Wortho and Blair. Like, seriously, is this the Deathly Hallows all of a sudden? Using a long stick, she stirred the embers, wishing they had something worth cooking. Marshmallow, she thought, and Polish sausage. Might as well wish for creme brulee and Chateaubriand while she was at it. Steak's not good enough anymore?
Nah, moved on from the snake steak. I think that Foster was probably a bit hungry.
Classic hungry author syndrome.
You know what he should have done? He should have prepared like I did. I prepared by going to a gas station because they feature so much in Terminator
stories.
And firstly, I just want to brag. I filled up my car with exactly 40 litres of petrol.
That's excellent.
Exactly. 40.00. I feel like a Terminator.
Yeah.
Like that's
Precision.
accuracy right there. And then I got myself a Mars bar.
Love it. And then you were
fully prepared.
Ripped out of the gas station by a harvester, put in the meat transport.
Yep. And I
luckily
ended up
they brought you here. Yeah. Where's my meat transport? Delivering my weekly meat. It all came out in the wash. All right, finally stuff happens. Outside the resistance base, Wortho Wright sets off a landmine that is only supposed to activate in the presence of Terminators.
Oh.
I wouldn't read much into that.
I'm starting to think that there might be something there.
Jumping to conclusions.
Yeah,
Inside, Kate Connor operates and discovers that not all is as it seems. Holy shit. Maybe you're right. He awakens again, restrained, and in the presence of the great John Connor.
The prisoner had been allowed to retain his pants. He had been allowed to retain his boots and his hair. What he was presently missing was his shirt and much of the skin that had formerly covered the upper portion of his body. It had been cleanly peeled back, like the plastic wrapping on an old toy. Beneath was... In places it was impossible to tell where man ended and machine began, or machine ended and man began. Confusion as to precedent only serving to further emphasize the beauty and dreadfulness of what unknown talents had wrought.
Wortho is a fucking robot!
No!
That all makes sense.
What a surprise!
Just realised as well, I
What?
missed this out of context comedy corner. A dubious right studied the innocent-looking exposed tip. Penis. So John Connor, what do you think of him here?
I don't know. Is he the hero in this? Is he not? Is he some kind of
He's just kind of
foil?
surly.
Well, whatever he is, he's not the sharpest tool in the knife block, that's for sure.
Connor stared. You have to stare, he told himself, because you've never seen anything like it before. To the best of his knowledge, no one had. So look, I'll take this, because forgive me for writing this in. He's a robot with a human heart and a human brain. You're probably asking how that's possible?
Yes.
Because we don't know that the brain in question is retaining actual memories from the original cortex. The memories the creature is experiencing could be implants designed to enhance its feeling of humanity and thereby augment its ability to deceive. His tone was icy. It's all clever programming to make the thing believe it actually is human. She blinked. That's possible, or there could be a cerebral divide, part original memories from the time when the brain was in a human body, and the rest adjectival programming by whoever fashioned the final amalgam. She returned her attention to the despondent dangling body. Given time and access to sufficiently sophisticated instrumentation, there might be a way to separate them out. Clear? You clear on this whole human brain thing now?
Nobody cares. The science in this film, not important. Just explode some more shit already.
I did love these Wortho descriptions so much, though.
It didn't matter what Connor or anyone else said. He knew who he was. Marcus Wright, bad boy extraordinaire, an antisocial foe of genteel society. A lot of good that had done him, he mused bitterly. A life of running and fighting, drinking and drugging and whoring.
Can you imagine, like, Wortho in his fucking Ford Escort pulling up at the beach and there's a sticker on the back of his, like, windshield that says, Bad Boy Extraordinaire, and then underneath it says, Antisocial Foe of Genteel Society. And Calvin is pissing on it.
That's beautiful.
Connor has no empathy for the machine.
This Marcus Wright is just one more bullet aimed at the heart of humanity. Hashtag real talk. Hashtag deep. Hashtag lyrics.
It is. It's like he's writing this meaningful song all the way through. You nailed it. And the restrained and helpless Wortho is tormented by a Bible-quoting maniac who keeps shooting at him. Pretty sure I feel like this is a metaphor for something. America?
Oh.
I went there.
So for anyone who hasn't seen the film, is there anyone... I hadn't seen the film.
I don't think many people have seen this film.
Does anyone care about the plot?
Someone might have the Criterion McG collection.
Yeah. So at this point, Marcus Terminator says that Kyle Reese is on the transporter thingy and John Connor gets all like, my dad. And surely, well, something is going to actually happen now at this point in the film, other than the two dudes just talking in low, gravelly voices at each other and being sad.
You pretty much nailed it.
Because at this point, this film has been going for about 3 days.
Well, all that's happened is they've revealed what we knew was going to happen in that very first scene, that he's told his body to become a robot.
Yeah.
Blair takes the opportunity. This is where she, rebels. She is a traitor to her friends, to the military.
To the rebellion.
The resistance, the rebellion. Rebels against the rebellion.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
Super meta.
Snake eating its own bum. She rescues Wortho and escapes with him. We get more action.
And she shoots at her friends.
Yeah.
For this guy who's not even a guy. He's a robot.
Yeah.
And she's like, blam, 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 at her family.
Her dudes.
This is messed up.
In their own base. You can get, court-martialed, shot, executed.
Exactly.
For that. But I did like these cool robots. This is the one thing I did remember from the film, I think. There are at least a dozen Hydrobots, segmented like worms, wholly serpentine in shape, eyeless but equipped with a host of other sensors. They exploded out of the water to clamp razor-lined metal jaws on the underside of the low-flying chopper.
That is exactly what my nightmares are like.
That is a very cool bit of imagery.
That is bullshit.
John Connor is rescued from the Hydrobots by Wortho, so you know how this goes. They form an uneasy alliance.
Yep.
They're going to infiltrate Skynet together and save Reese and get to the bottom of all this shit.
There aren't many twists in this plot, that's for sure.
What did you think of this bit?
Halt and identify yourself, the non-com in charge barked. John Connor. What a pity, he mused half-heartedly, that he could not be someone else.
Yeah, like Ferris Bueller. I mean, at least that guy gets a day off, right? Am I right? Am I right, listeners? Bueller!
Add this to the list of things that this film could have done with. Musical interlude with a parade.
Blair's, meanwhile, got Wortho up on some blocks, running him backwards to try and cover the escape. Run backwards faster! And then, this is a very shocking twist. This is the last thing I expected. But the hunter becomes the hunted.
No.
Yeah, can you believe that?
I can't.
I've never thought of those two terms and like switching them around like that. It's pretty crazy. And the newly hunting hunter even adopts the hunt speak of the now hunted, previously hunting hunter. So as John fobs off his distraught and totally useless wife,
looking into her face, unable to avoid the naked longing and desperation on display, he wondered what he could possibly say in response. Then he smiled anew, reassuringly, and gently wiped at her tears. I'll be back. Mind you, we did get the "Come with me if you want to live."
Yeah.
Really early on. Kyle Reese got to say that.
It's a greatest hits album.
It's what?
The greatest hits album.
Greatest hits album.
You notice, like, yeah, his wife's like, don't go. Like, you know, I've got a baby in me. Your baby. Don't go. This is crazy. This is suicide. And he's all like, basically, I got to go and prove that I'm a manly man.
Yeah. He's like, what kind of father would I be if I didn't abandon my child?
An alive, present father.
What? Oh, but I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen in the film. I think she's like, see ya.
Whatevs.
You go off and fight your little war. I'll just be here being pregnant. And so here's an example of the confusing fate, past, future logic.
John,
in this thing.
You can't go in there alone. Reese gave up his life for you. Throwing away your own life like this in a futile attempt to save him would be the last thing he would want you to do.
So, but he saved and then didn't save, but he need to go and then...
come back and
put him back and then Terminators and...
play with Linda Hamilton's clitoris in the Sean Hudson original novel. You think I'm being just needlessly gross, but that is in the book. Read the book.
Yep.
As Wortho enters the Skynet compound, he wonders if their bulldozer is a distant relative. It is. I checked on his IMDb page. Why also are military men so homoerotic?
That is a question for the ages, surely. Among the wide assortment of antiques that had been accumulated at the base, anything that was still capable of playing music was highly valued. Barnes had therefore been understandably reluctant to sacrifice his old tape player.
You sure I'll get this back? He had challenged Connor when he had inquired about requisitioning the player.
Connor had replied with a knowing smile. If you don't, you can take it out of my hide.
Ow! Boom chicka wow wow.
Also probably a better film than the one that I watched.
How much of that action do you reckon you get for an old cassette player?
Well, okay.
To think I gave it to cash converters.
Yeah, was that a good time?
It was like the pawn shop in Pulp Fiction.
Oh dear. The thing that I don't understand about this world where robots and computers rule everything is that they're still relying on technology all the time. These resistance fighters are all like, they've got little Palm Pilots and thumb drives. they put the jamming signal on a thumb drive. And then he captures a motorcycle and like jams a thumb drive into it. It's fantastic. But they're so reliant on technology, but they're fighting technology as well. And they're all like, oh, I can't get this radio to work. But where is all of the electricity coming from anyway?
Do you reckon they should go totally Amish?
Well, how come they haven't had to?
Terminator 5.
Because you have to mine stuff out of the ground to get electricity, is my understanding of it.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
So how do they have the resources to continue, like, radios, but also their little Palm Pilots and Resistance and stuff? And where do they get all their fighter jet fuel from?
Because they don't even have, like, gas for the cars, right?
Exactly. Oh, we have to save this because it's the dark times coming. But where did it come from in the first place? Jet fighters.
This future robot movie makes no sense.
And how come the robots are so dumb that they're not like, just take away their electricity?
Mind blown. Hashtag. As Connor infiltrates the base, we meet an old friend that Alan Dean Foster just could not resist including...
Is it Steve Terminator?
Once he nearly blew his cover and revealed his presence when movement among debris caused him to swing his rifle in its direction. Fortunately, he didn't fire. The cat that ambled out of the mountain of garbage eyed him imperiously, flicked its tail and sauntered off in the opposite direction. It is the cat-tagonist of the Terminator films.
Yeah, I reckon the next film should just be cats. Cats and Terminators.
Well, they haven't had a cat Terminator.
Rolling around.
They had a woman Terminator.
Chasing balls of yarn.
They didn't have a woman Terminator. They may as well have a cat Terminator.
Very similar.
Chasing balls of steel wool.
Steel wool!
Yeah.
Alright, we're done here.
Yeah. They wouldn't be good around lasers, would they?
But, no, I'm done with the robot logic. It doesn't make any sense.
I thought this was cool.
It was not a slaughterhouse. The machines were too neat, too efficient for that. Bits and pieces of what had once been people hung from the low ceiling. Some drifted suspended in viscous liquids, while others were kept going by tangles of tubes and cables. As he made his way forward, he passed everything from electrically stimulated... Oh man, this is so fucking hard. As he made his way forward, he passed everything from electrically stimulated arms and legs to individual organs, still intact torsos. Worst of all were the wired heads. He thanked what spirits remained that the eyes of every one of these preserved and studied specimens were closed.
In the film, I was more creeped out by the penis chandelier.
What? I missed that.
Just tinkled together.
Oh, I'm gonna... What? I'm gonna go back and watch it.
Go back and watch it. Great penis chandelier. He swings on it later.
So now we're entering, like, maybe day 5 of this film. And
yes.
I don't think I was paying attention, because I don't remember all of that gore in the film.
The film is
that
in
happening.
real time. It turns out that Wortho was unwittingly leading Connor into a trap for Skynet.
No!
So he does, in one single motion, what would normally take Wortho about 1,000 beers to do. He rips out a part of his own brain.
Boy.
Eyes bulging, nerves trembling, and muscles straining, he closed the fingers of his reluctant hand around the chip and pulled. His enhanced body was already fighting to repair the damage to the back of his head as he ripped the chip from its mounting and from his skull. True Australian here. Chips on the brain. Loves his chips.
Wait, chips are made out of potatoes!
Yes! He ripped out a chip out of his potato brain.
It's all coming together.
Yes.
All makes sense now. Except it doesn't make sense, because
No.
if he's mostly machine and he rips the chip out, how is he still functioning? Doesn't he need that chip to survive? Don't computers work that way? Somebody come and explain robotics to me, because I clearly don't have any understanding.
Mick G doesn't know anything about robotics. Come on. And then finally, Connor very briefly encounters Mr. Steve Terminator.
Yay!
Unfolding its limbs as it did so, the figure rose, red eyes opened, flickered briefly, steadied as they locked on the intruder. It was the same relentless, invincible, unfeeling killing machine responsible for so many deaths and near-deaths in the past, present, and future. It took a step towards Connor. It didn't hesitate. In the heartless, brutal world of the present, there was no time for indecision. Not for those who wanted to live. They would have to come with, I assume. There was no time for Connor to wonder why he was in a room with the machine that had tried to kill his mother, or to speculate on Carl's current whereabouts. There was only time to react. But notice no Schwarzen description here.
No.
Which you think would be the fetishistic thing to do.
Yeah.
So I imagine it was just still unclear at the time of writing that he was going to be digitally inserted into this thing.
Yeah, well...
Did you make it as far as this scene?
Yeah, yeah, I did. Yeah, like briefly in between naps. Yeah, there's not even any description there that it's a, like, human, like, it's got skin and stuff. It's just eyes. Red eyes. So maybe they hadn't even made that decision yet.
Because this is the scene that you should watch from the film, but just watch it on YouTube. This is a young CGI Terminator, like 80s style.
Yeah,
which
he is smooth in the face.
Also going to appear in this next one, in this Terminator Genesis.
No way.
We're going to have a young CGI version as well as the old version.
What?
And Matt Smith is in this thing, if you can believe that.
What?
So weird.
Should have been David Tennant.
And then Connor meets and saves Reese and then goes to confront the machines by himself.
Backing away, Connor turned and ran for the nearby stairs. They led to a catwalk. He didn't know where it ended, but what mattered was that it led away from the elevator and the children. His face contorted in a grimace at the pain in his dislocated shoulder. He yelled back at his pursuer, "Come on, you metal son of a bitch!"
Sick burn, John. I'm sure you hurt the machine's feelings. And then he also calls him an asshole. And then he calls him a son of a bitch again. Remember, this film was also notorious for the fact that it was PG-13. So it lacks the language and the gore of all the other films. Yeah. And McGee had originally teased this topless scene with Moon Bloodgood, which turns out to be just like a really dark silhouette-y thing. Silhouette of a man, Scaramouche.
Yeah, because actually there's one scene where Marcus Terminator, before we know he's a Terminator, hurts his arm, and the Star, the little girl, comes and puts a Band-Aid on it. You don't even get to see any blood or anything. You just see her putting the Band-Aid on.
McGee pussied out, and he said he wasn't going to pussy out, and he pussied out! But then John Connor gets rescued by the mighty Wortho Terminator.
At this stage, who even cares? All
not
of this
you,
action,
not I, not our listener.
No, and I hazard a guess, probably not Alan Dean Foster either.
Not Christian Bale.
No, he definitely didn't care about anything in this, did he? He was real phoning it in. It's all just like, bam, punch, 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 punch. You know exactly what's going to happen right from the beginning. So nothing is a surprise throughout this whole week-long marathon of a film. You know that every time they shoot a Terminator, it's not going to be stopped, because it's been established in the first 3 films that guns don't stop Terminators. You need to, like, acid their faces off. You know that when the thing gets on fire, it's going to come out of the fire and be on fire, but still shooting stuff. None of the suspense or the terror or any of the, like, is what's going to happen in this film is present in this film at all. It's all just explosions and like nothing else, really. Explosions and people walking.
Well, my question is, how do they get any tension for this 5th film? Which again is about sending things forward or back in time to try and kill off this Connor timeline. But they didn't get it right the first 4 times. They're not going to get it the 5th time. Like, I know that. And they keep going, oh, but now we've changed everything's changed. What you thought was the future's not the future, and what you thought was the... yeah, I kind of think it is all the same.
No one cares.
No one cares anymore. Still going to go and see it, just so I can talk about it.
Him getting rescued, John Connor getting rescued, in the film, it's like, okay, so there's a bit of stuff going on. Screaming, because they both scream so much. Oh, manliness! In the book, this is pretty much all that happens before they just, like, fuck off out of the warehouse or whatever. A metallic squeal came from the Terminator's head as it flew off. It bounced a couple of times before coming to rest against a far wall. For the first time, its eyes were blank.
The end.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, they managed to blow up the base, but the injured John Connor is dying.
Oh.
Any moment. His heart can't take it. Her eyes met the sergeant's and she continued, "The Terminators have beat him up and history has worn him down." Again, she's jotting down lyrics in her little diary as well by the sound of it.
So do you at this point, do you really think that John Connor is going to die?
Of a broken heart?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Well, don't laugh. It happened to Padme Amidala. She died of a broken heart.
Oh, God.
Now John Connor is dying of a broken heart. And Wortho gives him his heart, his own heart.
Oh, that's so sweet.
He dies so that John Connor can live.
And it's so weird how in the film no one cares that he's about, like, he's, have my heart, I'll have to die. No one blinks an eye. Not even John Connor, who's the hero, I guess. You would expect him to be like, at least, maybe not. Maybe just think about it or something. No, he's just like, cool. Now please.
Less talking, more heart giving, transplanting.
Yeah, the only person who seems to care even a little bit is Blair, but she caves pretty quickly.
I know, and then she donates her tits. So you've got John Connor at the end, just rocking freedom fighter with just this amazing rack.
Yeah.
Killing robots.
Again, a better film than the one that I saw.
I love it. Well, don't fret, because here is the ending. A single slab of smooth river rock constituted the tombstone that stood at the head of the gravesite. Despite the heat, the young man patting down the last shovelfuls of dry earth wore a heavy jacket. Sweat streamed down his face, but neither the heat nor the dripping perspiration dissuaded him from his work. He had carved the obituary on the stone himself with his own knife.
Marcus Wright, a good man.
A short epitaph he knew, but no better one could have been composed. Taking a break before placing the last spadeful of dirt, he dug into one of the jacket's pockets for the handkerchief that rested there. Deeper, his fingers encountered something less flexible, less soft. Brow furrowing, he pulled out the old photograph. It showed a single woman, attractive but stolid, her expression resigned. It was just a picture, nothing more than a photograph, but the eyes of the woman he was staring at seemed to burn into his soul. In the background was the entire McFly family. A tremor ran through him. He was not looking at an old picture. He was gazing at his destiny.
The woman in the picture was Sarah Connor. More than a little to everyone's surprise, including that of Kate Connor, the transplant not only took but held. But then, John Connor had always been just a little stronger, a little tougher, just a bit more resilient than any other human she had ever met.
Face sutured?
Sutured.
Chest swathed?
Swathed.
Swathed in heavy
You want me to do this one?
gauze. He stood outside the chopper and regarded the surviving core of the resistance. He was not the only survivor, and he knew in his heart, as well as in his mind, there would be more, many more. Would there be enough? Only time would tell.
Move out! The order rang out, crisp and clear in the desert air of evening.
One by one, the surviving functional aircraft lifting into the sky and headed off into the sunset, leaving behind only the usual detritus typical of temporary human occupation, regrets, and the single grave of a human being. The end. Except, did you notice? You're reading this book and you're thinking, oh, it came to an end, which was great, but there's still quite a few pages left.
Yeah.
Because it says...
Keep reading for an extract from Terminator Salvation, From the Ashes, by Timothy Zahn, which is also available from Titan Books.
Nope. Did not read.
Loves me some Timothy Zahn, but could not do it.
So, I got to ask you, Lizzy, after all that, further adventures, Steve Terminator, only had a cameo in his own book. I think the cat had more of a role than he did. Was the book better?
The film had Kyle Reese in it, and I finally understood what Sarah Connor had seen in him.
Film had Sam bloody Wortho, we're the best bloody actor in Australia, mate. He was a top bloke. I bet you Christian Bale woke up with that new heart in his chest and was like, I want to slam some tinnies and bum some durries, mate.
Fair go.
I want to get out of me fucking Jeep and do some broggies, mate.
Broggies.
She's going to blow your doors, mate. She's going to blow your fucking doors. Your mother was good, but your grandmother was better, mate.
I don't want to seem like I'm sucking up to the writer, to Alan Dean Foster.
Alan Dean Foster's pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, he's the best of all possible men.
He made a very bland, shitty book, an entertaining book, at least.
Did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He squeezed some juice out of it. Twice, apparently. Loved it. If he can send his first draft.
That would be amazing.
I'll be thrilled.
No, the film was rubbish. I didn't enjoy it.
So you're going to say the book?
It was about robots, but it wasn't a Terminator film. There was no Terminator in it, even though it was full of fucking Terminators.
Not the one we wanted.
Yeah.
Not the one we were looking for.
Not the best. So I'm going to go with the book.
You convinced me. I'm going to go with the book as well.
Yeah, high five on the book.
High five, Alan Dean Foster. Well done. You are my favourite whale rider. All right, here's some Amazon reviews. Like so often, the book is better than the flick.
Oh.
No amount of special effects can improve imagination. I must say the Terminator franchise has been handled well. And it's written like a poem.
Is that a limerick?
It's, there once was a Terminator from Rockingham. My syllables were out. And here's another one. It's been pretty busy these days, so I didn't realise that the movie Terminator Salvation is coming soon. Anyway, I found it in a bookstore and I bought it. Soon I couldn't stop reading this book. Maybe this book is not earth-shaking and you could get the same picture from the film soon, but I'm pretty sure that it has good worth to read. It has good worth to read.
Good worth to read.
I think you meant good Wortho to read. At least it has some points which could only be presented by books, but not by something else.
Oh, okay.
Finally, it's cheap. Its list price is $7.99 with the $sign behind the number. However, if you are not a big Terminator fan, I'd like to recommend its cousin From the Ashes rather than this. So he preferred the little excerpt at the end.
Wow.
To the actual book.
Maybe I'd go back and read it then, except from the sound of it, it's got even fewer Terminators in it.
If you were not a big Terminator fan, I'd recommend not buying or reading a Terminator book.
No. Buy the book. Buy this book. Even if you're not a big Terminator fan, just don't read the book. Just read the little bit at the end.
To be fair, it is does present things that could only be presented in books.
Yeah.
And not by something else.
Not by something else.
Like a shoe.
And it has
or
good
a
worth
leaf.
to read.
I have very good work. Well, at
cheap work.
$7.99.
Yeah. Its list price is amazing.
That's very good worth.
Very good.
Kind of worth
to read.
That you should read.
Yeah.
Next week on The Book Was Better, I'm prepared today. I'm going to read out the blurb. This is the great thing about all the planning. See if you know what this is.
Okay.
Nancy Drew.
Tell me more.
The cleverest sleuth in River Heights is always on the case, no matter how dangerous it may be. Now Nancy's taking her sleuthing to a whole new level as she accompanies her father to Los Angeles, though her dad thinks she's renounced sleuthing forever. After discovering a long unsolved crime involving the death of a beautiful movie star, Nancy vows to uncover the mystery. With a little help from some new friends, Nancy is well on her way to cracking this case. But is Nancy in over her head in the fast-paced world of Hollywood? And my guest star on Nancy Drew, that's a young Emma Roberts.
Oh, yeah.
My guest host is the little sleuth herself, the little detective, Courtney Colson.
No way.
Yeah, who chose this one. She likes the detective stories, so I'm sure it is absolutely brilliant. I'm just looking at the photos now, and...
that one says a clue.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
spoilers.
Whoa. All right. Cannot wait to read that at the last minute. All right, well, thank you so much, Lizzy.
No problem.
Always such a pleasure. I'll do the spiel really quickly. Listen to the other shows, Fruitless Pursuits, podcast called FPcast, and Scarjo A Go-Go. You can find all this information at www.fruitlesspursuits.com. Rate and review us on iTunes. There's links there. There's links to our Facebook page where you can talk about all this stuff with us. Please rate and review us. We love to hear from you, and thanks for all your support. And yeah, you got anything exciting happening?
No. I already told you about the thing I did with the petrol in my car. That's pretty much the most exciting thing that's
40
happened.
litres on the dot.
On the dot.
Fuck. Wouldn't read about it. I would. No. We would read about it.
I would read a whole novel about that.
Yeah, and more has been written about less. I can promise you that. All right. Thanks for listening to The Book Was Better, everybody, and...
catch you on the flips.
Bonjour.